Alright, so here we are. Video number 1, channel number 79. Part of my, I don't know, at this point, probably 10, 11 year journey on YouTube trying to make something happen. So here we go. I'm working on this, I guess, studio build here. It's a control center is what we're trying to do. I want to control all my lights, my monitors, my PC, my desk. It's an adjustable desk. I've got that light right there. And it may be a camera in the future. I don't really know yet. But the concept is to have everything controlled on just this panel here. That way I don't have to go through flipping all my switches to my monitors, my lights, my PC, everything. Hit a switch, have it communicate with the PLC, and everything starts up and powers off in a sequence. So if we're looking at the I guess you would say the main input, 120 volt alternating current. So this is literally just plugging straight into a wall outlet or wall receptacle. So it's going into what we have here. I'm trying to figure out my own schematic, blueprint, whatever you want to call it. So we're going into a main breaker. I'm trying to be safe here. I don't want to just be all willy-nilly plugging everything in straight directly into the load. So we're going to do every main component will have its own its own separate breaker, its own separate circuit. So we got a main circuit. Where are we at here? Right. Well, okay. So it's going into a door switch first. That way, so I can toggle or I can switch it on and off on the door, rather than having to open up the enclosure every time and flipping the main switch. So we're going to do an external switch. So that'll go into the door switch first, then our main breaker right here, 15 amp. And then the 15 amp will, of course, feed all of the I don't think secondary is the proper word, but we're going to say secondary breakers for each individual circuit. Secondary is not the right word. I know it's not. So then of course we have our first one for the power supply. That's going to feed our PLC. So we're going to get our 24 volt converted into the we're going to have our main breaker sent to the PLC or the power supply to actually I may have goofed that up. I'll have to go back and look at my I have another thing written down here. It kind of walks me through everything more clearly. I may have overlooked that, not have fixed that. So I may have to change that. But the idea is to send power into the PLC off, well, from a breaker to the PLC, and then this the power supply will go into the breaker, out of the breaker into the PLC. So however this here works, I might have to go back and look at that again just to make sure. I think I got that wrong, but continuing on here, we're just going to daisy chain. So we're going to have a main, right, and just daisy chain all into the other breakers. Just make it simple, less wire. So we're gonna have all of our symbols here. I'm using this free software, free CAD. I mean, it's all right. It's not great, not trash, but we'll work with it here. So we've got two lights right here. Boom, boom. Our key light, our hair light. Then we're gonna have I'm just gonna do a regular plug here. Well, I think it's a 2-pole receptacle. And I'm just gonna run that for my PC because my PC, I'll show you here. It's this plug here. It's just a regular. I don't even know exactly what you would call these plugs, but so I mean, obviously in this here, clearly there's not 14 gauge, three 14 gauge wire conductors in there. So we're just gonna, I don't feel like cutting that open and messing with it, so we're just gonna run it straight into a receptacle, a DIN rail receptacle. And we got we've got our desk here now. So there's, I've looked at it, and there's like multiple different prongs and stuff on the back here, so that might be something that I don't know. I'm just gonna have to mess with it because I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to like hook up some sort of external power supply, maybe like a battery or something. I don't know. Try to test the prongs and see what does what and wire it accordingly. That way, when I hit the switch for the start sequence, my desk will rise up. Or no, excuse me, my desk will lower. I keep my desk up when I'm not using it to keep the cats off. But that way it'll lower it whenever I start the sequence, and whenever I'm done and I shut everything down, it'll rise back up. So I gotta be able to figure out what prong in there, whatever you would call them, what does what. And then we've got our 2 monitors here, 1 and 2. Then those will have power whenever we start this sequence as well. Those will fire up. I think I've got, yeah, I think I've got mostly everything here. So, yeah, so it's power supply, and then we're going to go into our 24 volt DC here. I've got my grid turned off. The grid's kind of, yeah, kind of messes with you a little bit, but so our plus side, positive side on the power supply here, we're going to run into the breaker for the PLC, and then I'll be for our the plus side on the PLC, positive side. And then we're going to have 2 more switches here, little push button switches. They're going to be one will be for the start sequence. I have a green light, one with it's a green push button with an LED indicator. And then we'll have our clear, or a white, for our stop sequence. And I'm going to have an emergency switch button for obviously in case of an emergency. I mean it's 120 volt. As long as I'm doing everything correctly and everything, I shouldn't have too huge of an issue. A keyword shouldn't. But I'm just gonna put that on there just for extra safety precautions. I don't even plan, if I'm not even here, I probably won't even have it plugged into the wall. Like I want to be as safe as I possibly can with this thing. So yeah, so that's that. I've kind of stopped, and I went back to the drawing table. I'll take you here in a second to look at what we've got going on. I've kind of stopped here just for a refresh, because it took like it's 7:28 p.m. now, and I started on this thing since I think it was like noon today, just trying to figure out this CAD, because I just downloaded this last night, and I'm still trying to like figure out all the UI and everything. So here's the main thing. Here's our panel. It's going to be, so the enclosure, it's a I think it's a 28 by 18, and of course our subplate, you've got to take all your measurements by your subplate, because you lose, I don't know, I'm gonna guess about an inch or 2 off the subplate. The one I'm getting is from Amazon. It's a NEMA Vavor. I just wanted something good, but not having to spend an arm and leg. So that's coming here in a few days. So I'll have my more accurate dimensions here. But I'm just guessing by the ones we have off, or we get at work, and the pictures, that I'll probably lose an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches. So I'm measuring for 2 inches on the worst case scenario, and if anything, I can just reconfigure everything. Now the problem I'm having with this software here is a lot of these the things that they give you, the components, you can't go in and like edit the sizes of them, which kind of sucks, because I can't get an accurate picture of what I'm trying to do here. So I've got this janky power supply here that's way oversized, and of course my PLC is kind of close, but it's just really oversized for what I'm trying to get an accurate picture for. Now I could probably go ahead and go back and rescale my thing, but I just don't really feel like messing with it that much. I just need a rough idea of what I'm working with. That way I can go into all of this here and figure out all my my routing for my components and all. So yeah, that's that. I've got 6 relays going in as well. 8 input relays, I believe. That way we can have our like our inputs, outputs off the PLC into the relays for our 120 volt loads. So that's basically it as far as the schematic blueprint deal. We'll move over here to the actual, so don't mind my chicken scratch here. So this is the rough cut. I took my measurements. We were at 18 inches here, and then 26 inches vertically. It might be kind of hard to see. I've got my light here shining down on it, so it's kind of maybe causing a glare, making it hard to see. But anyhow, I took all the measurements for my Panduit, my wireway. So it's going to run all the way through here, and I think what I'm gonna do here is for my main breaker, we'll just leave it open here, and don't mind the little line here, but we'll have 1.5 inch wireway right here. So this line here, so you can account for a 1/2 inch there with this line. It's not part of, it's a old bookcase backing. It fell off, and I've just kept it. So yeah, we'll have our main breaker here, and then our ground bar. Now the ones we do at work, we take the ground bars and we put them right on bottom just like this, and we run all of our grounds up into here. Now, to me, I think it's kind of ugly. It's a little bit of an eyesore. It just doesn't really, I don't know. I ain't really rocking with it. So I think what I'm gonna try to do, I'll resize everything when I get all my components, and I got all this stuff coming this week. Just keep it here is my idea, and we'll see how it works. So we'll have all of our grounds going into the wireway right there. So yeah, I'm gonna have wireway running all the way across the top here, down through the side. I would imagine this here will be my main side. I'm gonna try to divide up between all my grounds, neutrals, hots. That way we're not crossing paths there, but I'm not really too concerned about it. So the wireway right here, I'm going to try to use all of the space that I possibly can out of this thing, because Automation Direct is where I'm getting a good bit of the parts from, and they don't have dimensions on some of their products. So I'm trying to like guess at this the best I can, and we're just going to hope and pray that everything matches up. And I have enough room. I ordered the biggest enclosure that I could on Amazon. We're just gonna hope that it works out. So, and at 2.5. Oh yeah, so 2.5, 2.5. No, sorry, 2.25. 2.25. 2.25 here, all the way down here to the bottom. This will be our well, we've got two main rows here. Have DIN rail here, and then DIN rail here for our terminal blocks. And then I think, I'm not sure what I'm doing with this right here, but we'll have 1.5 inches down through here. So 1.5 inches, and then the rest is 2.25 all the way through. And they're both, the heights of them are both 2.25. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. So my other idea with this ground thing here is, because we're gonna install. No, let me rethink this. So we've got all of our loads, all of our circuits are coming in through the bottom. And I'm not sure if I'm going to put in a separate section of DIN rail with the terminal blocks here to have maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing maybe 6 inputs, well, not inputs, but 6 terminal blocks. That way we can put some of them down here and then bus it to this ground bar up here. But, I mean, what's the purpose of having a big, you know, how many inputs? I don't know, like, I'm guessing 9, 10 for this here, when I'm only going to have a few, say our main 14 gauge, and then maybe the power supply going into there, then having the rest of them down here. It doesn't really make too much sense, but I'm still trying to figure that out, because I don't, because in that case I'm going to have to run extensions or buck connects off of my my loads coming in, and then run the grounds all the way up through there. So we will figure that out whenever I get all the components and get an idea for how our fitments are. But I guess worst comes to worst, I could always fudge with some of this stuff here and put it in like that, and maybe have a little bit more open space here for, you know, more activities, but we'll see. So yeah, that's mostly it. I think my idea is here is we're going to have all of our circuit breakers right here, and then I'm hoping to have enough room, because we're working with let me get this. I'm sorry about this. Production quality is not very great on this one, but you know what? Do it ugly, I guess. 12, so about 11 and no, about 10 and some change here inches that we're working with, and we have how many do we have here? We've got 8. Yeah, we've got 8 breakers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8, and then our main breaker, of course, is gonna be 15. Yeah, but that doesn't count. He's gonna live over there. But yeah, so 8 over here. And then, I mean, I know roughly how big they are, but, I mean, again, Automation Direct, they don't put the dimensions on their products. It makes it kind of tough when you go through and size everything, but that's all right. What can you do? So, yeah, we'll have 8 of those, and I'm hoping if I have enough room, I can put in my, the receptacle and have it there. But with the... I'll show you again here, but with this thing here, it's going to be tilted at the side, and I'm not quite sure how much room we're going to have there. So again, we'll just have to play with it whenever all the components come in and go from there. Or worst comes to worst, I can just put the power supply there, and then put, you know, the receptacle down here with the PLC, then my 6 relays. So, not checked how much we're working with down here. What we got here? So we got about 14 inches over here on bottom. It just kind of stinks with how much vertical space that you need for the components. When you ratio that with the amount of length that you have on it. So I don't know, it kind of makes it difficult when I don't have an actual enclosure with me to be able to see things, and obviously my measurements. So this is really going to be a just kind of play with it as I go, and hopefully we can get something worked out, which I'm pretty sure we can. I mean, 26 by 18, that's still pretty good as far as width ways. I'm just going to have to really work with it. Worst comes to worst, I can always run a vertical terminal block, which is something I'm definitely considering. I just want to try something different. Run a vertical terminal block, and then it could give us an extra row down here, basically. And then I would just, you know, scoot everything together down this way, because But yeah, but I don't think I'll have to do that. But if I do, I'm definitely open to it. I may just even do that anyway. So we'll just have to go from there and see what we got. Eaton, that's our first product the first component that we have gotten. This will probably be the only Eaton product on this thing. Their mini circuit breakers are like $40 a pop. I'm not spending $40 on a hobby project, so so Gladiator it is, like $20 a pop. So yeah, there it is. That's where we are with that. I'll have to go back through and fix that power supply. I must have goofed off or must have had a brain fart or something when I was going through. I've got my pick list here, my bomb. Yeah, so everything's coming, everything's on the way. I mean, I've had to order some things, and then some things I'm going to go back and order later, but most of it will come here soon. Automation Direct, some of their circuit breakers I think are on back order, so I'm not going to get some of those in this week. And then the PLC is like $200, so I'm gonna wait on that. I don't really need the PLC right now. I can get everything, I can get other things all put together before I absolutely need the PLC. I've never programmed anything on those, so we will. That's gonna be the learning curve. Everything else is pretty simple as far as engineering all of this and getting all the components put together, wired in. That's not really too much of an issue. It's just the learning curve on the programming. That's a big reason why I wanted to do this, is learning the programming side to all of it. So I'm not, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning, I'm not an engineer, I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm an electrician, an industrial electrician of going on 2 years this November. I started out with this one company. It was kind of niche. It was, like I said, industrial, so it was in shop production. We made trailers and a whole bunch of other stuff. And not the trailers you're thinking of. These were like campers for emergency relief or disaster relief. And we did a whole bunch of other stuff. It was pretty cool, but I just found this newer company here, and I've been with these guys for a couple months now, and it has really expanded my knowledge and as far as electrical, and so it's pretty cool. So we're just building this project, and we're going to see how far we can just grow and learn more and do more and all that kind of goodies, I guess. So all right, so thanks for watching. If you stuck with us this far, I definitely plan to document this whole shebang, and yeah, do a start to all the way to finish, and let's see what we can do here. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.